How's it going today, guys? I'm going to go over how to solve these four problems. I want you to try them out first. So get out a pencil and paper if you don't already have one in front of you. Try solving these, then watch this video. My goal is that if you try to solve these first yourself, and then watch how I solve them, you'll be able to figure out maybe which step you're making mistakes on, or maybe you'll just realize you got them all right, and that's good too. But I'm hoping that if you watch how I solve them, you'll be able to kind of catch yourself and just be able to identify maybe what's the tricky part, what's the thing that's holding you up, okay? All right, so hopefully you have your answers. Hopefully you have your work in front of you that you showed. So let's go over this. 7 divided by 3/5. Before I even get into the dividing, I have to rewrite this equation as 7 over 1, right? Because 7 wholes up here in our equation, 7 wholes is the same as 7 over 1. Some people accidentally will say 7 is the same as 1/7. I know that's not true, right? Because if you're ordering pizza, for example, and you say, okay, I want 7 pizzas. If someone says, okay, here's 1/7 of a pizza, are you going to say that's the same thing? You're going to say, no way, that's definitely not the same thing. 7 is the same as 7 1 whole pizzas, though, right? So we know that's the same. So just for those of us who tend to accidentally do that, sometimes we're moving too fast. I just want us to attach that little bit of information to that. So 7 wholes divided by 3/5. Okay, we do our algorithm, right? Keep, change, flip. So I'm going to have 7 over 1. We're going to do this so we keep things straight. Times 5 over 3. All right. Notice I've already written out the problem 2 more times. That's a big thing. And then I'm going to multiply right across. So 7 times 5 is 35. And 1 times 3 is 3. And so I would end up getting an answer of 11 2/3. Okay, because I can make 11 wholes and there will be 2/3 left over. All right, so we can kind of even envision that as like a division problem, right? 35 divided by 3. It's like, okay, it goes into 11 whole times and there's remainder 2 left over, however you want to think about it, 2/3. Great, so that would be our answer to the first problem. Let's move on to problem number 2. So 2 2/5 divided by 9. First things first, I need to put this into a form where it's just improper fractions. So I would say, okay, 2 2/5 would end up being 12/5 divided by 9 over 1. So notice once again, I have not done keep, change, flip. I have not changed to multiplication. I have not flipped 9 into the reciprocal 1/9, right? I've just written it out. Now I'm going to rewrite it out as 12/5 times 1/9. And I'm going to say, okay, well, I would get 12/45. Now, some of you might be using cross simplification. If you are, this is a great time to use it, right? So 12/5 times 1/9, and I could say, okay, well, 9 and 12 both have a common factor of 3, so I'd say 12 divided by 3 is 4, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and then 5 and 1, there's no common factors. So 4 times 1 is 4, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so 4/15 is my answer, which is the same as 12/45, right? If I simplify 12/45, I can say, okay, what goes into each of these? Well, 3 goes into 12, so divide that by 3, and I get 4. 3 goes into 45. It's probably not something you have memorized per se, but 3 times 15 is 45, so 45 divided by 3 is 15. And I get the same answer down here. This is a big reason why I highly recommend doing cross simplifying. It just makes things easier. Oftentimes you'll get your answer already in its simplest form or closer to its simplest form, so it'll just be easier to simplify. So that's that. Let's go down to question number 3. 3 2/4 divided by 6/16. So once again, the first thing I'm going to want to do is turn both numbers into improper fractions. So 3 and 2/4 becomes 14/4, right? 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14/4. Divided by 6/16. So I can't convert this into an improper fraction, right? This is already in fraction form. It's not a mixed number. So I'm just going to leave it just like it is. 6/16. So let's do the next step. Let's use our algorithm. 14/4 times 16/6. This is going to be a great opportunity to cross simplify. In fact, I'm not even going to do it any other way. If you find yourself thinking right now, like, man, I need to do 14 times 16, I'll let you get your answer, and I'll let you simplify. But I'm going to cross simplify right now. So I'm going to say 4 and 16 both have a common factor of 4. So, oops. So 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 14 and 16 have a common factor of 2. 2 goes into 14 7 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And then I'm going to multiply across. 7 times 4 is 28. 1 times 3 is 3. Then I'm going to have to simplify this into a mixed number. 3 goes to 28 9 whole times. And then I will have a remainder of 1, so 1/3. All right, and that'll be my answer to that one. 9 1/3 here. And let's go on to question number 4 now. Let's go on to question number 4. 2 4/5 divided by 1 3/10. So this one is a mixed number divided by a mixed number. So I need to turn them both into improper fractions. So 2 4/5 will be 14/5 divided by 1 3/10, which will be 13/10. Then I'm going to rewrite the equation under it using our algorithm. So I'm going to keep that first number. So I'm going to just say 14/5. Right? I'm keeping it, and nothing is being changed. I'm going to change the sign to multiplication. I'm going to flip 13/10 as into its reciprocal. 10/13. Once again, I'm going to cross simplify here. I'm going to cross simplify and go, let's see, 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5. So 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 10 two times. And 13 and 14 are kind of stuck where they are, right? No common factors for them besides 1, but we all know that won't change anything, right? So 14 times 2 is 28. And 1 times 13 is 13. And we can simplify this. 13 goes into 28 two times, right? Because 13 times 2 is 26, which means we have 2 left over, so 2/13 left over. So that's the answer there. So once again, this was just to be a practice. I know some of us, we have a hard time with either, let me change this highlighter. Okay. Sometimes we have a hard time with remembering that over here, we don't want to change that once it says an improper fraction. Some people are just in the habit of always flipping, and that's why I want you to take it one step at a time when you do these. If you notice, that's also why when I did this, I went through, and you can see that I had multiple steps, right? I always wrote 1, 2, and then like there's the third step of always simplifying, right? 1, 2, then simplifying, right? 3. Unless your cross simplification over here saves you a little bit of work. That's awesome if it does. 1, 2, then 3 of simplifying, right? So 1 is always rewrite the whole division problem out. It's still division, just write it out. 2 is actually doing the math, multiplying, right? It's using our algorithm. And 3 is simplifying. All right, I hope this video helps. If you remember it in any kind of different steps, or if you have any advice for your peers, your classmates, feel free to comment below. Let them know what helps you, and maybe it will even help them. All right.